As with most things in our existence, extreme metal is something that we develop a taste for and becomes a part of our lives, and we never really look back. We never stop and ask ourselves why that is. Why extreme metal? What does that say about oneself? Does that say nothing? That would be a little naive. A genre as extreme as extreme metal simply must bear some sort of deep meaning about the personality of the listener. Don't think this video is about overanalyzing things, but why does one have a distinct preference out of all styles for musical brutality, bleak nightmarish soundscapes with blast beats and high-pitched shrieks or guttural Cookie Monster vocals? I don't have the absolute answer to that, but let's look at a few things together first. What follows isn't a knock on extreme metalheads in any way, just a closer look at a few interesting talking points. Extreme metal is an umbrella term that encapsulates a wide variety of metal subgenres. Industrial, black metal, death metal, grindcore, doom death. But the common denominator to all those, and the reason they're grouped up in one genre or family, is because they're extreme. There's either deep despondent melancholy, oral violence through barbaric speed and aggression, a focus on the negative, a cult of the obscure, and of deconstruction. Death metal in particular is praised for its intricate song structures and its ability to give coherence to bizarre chromatic shapes. In other words, to shift the common musical paradigm around. Take the principle of mainstream song, as it had been for millennia, from hard-playing bards in the Middle Ages to radio music in the 70s, dismantle it, and put the dead pieces back together, a lot like Dr. Frankenstein's endeavor. The result would be twisted, convoluted, and much like the Frankenstein monster, would suffer a spontaneous perpetual agony from its first breath onwards, an existential malaise. Extreme metal can never achieve peace and harmony, for it is born out of anguish and is confined in it. Extreme metal can never be intrinsically relaxing, calming, or love-bearing, because those are the exact things it exists to detest, to reject, and to go at war with. The world is an abject hellhole, far beyond possible redemption, and we're all stuck in it, and there's no way out. Hopelessness, despair, and seething misanthropic scorn dominate the lyrical content, or in some cases, even satanic themes. So there seems to be something about the chaos, the symbolic energy of chaos, that attracts the fan. Perhaps the fan relates on a deep and subconscious level to that musical chaos because it resonates with him and depicts a recklessness or emptiness he deals with personally in his everyday life. Isn't extreme metal at its core a cry of deep distress? Not necessarily a call for attention, but at least inwardly a manifestation of an existential malaise. Surely there's a link between having a fascination with aggressive music and aggression, or power. Surely there's a basis somewhere inside the metalhead for that strong attraction towards musical nihilism. Is it possible it's just purely artistic taste? Doesn't seem to make sense. Where are that obsession with extremeness and that longing for emptiness coming from? Also, it's quite probable there's a link between a form of antisocial introversion and that nihilism. Bah. It feels like that ugly dark place is so intimate and so profound it needs to be explored alone. It's like this lonely soul, all by itself in some bedroom, yearning to express itself with a mic and a guitar. Songwriters in the field are not always, but often iconoclastic loners who revel in their solitary torment, which they even boast about. More about the term ugly. Extreme metal as a whole is basically put the worshipping of ugliness. Beautiful is so easy and shallow. Anyone can write pretty music. Ugly is true and inaccessible. The first thing a non-metalhead hears when listening to extreme metal is precisely that ugliness. The musical texture, the uneasy production, the resentful spirit of it, its inaccessible, ugly noise to them. A cacophony, from the Greek kakos, bad, and phony, sound. Which isn't surprising given the keenness in extreme metal to explore musical dissonance, which itself comes from the Latin word meaning disharmony. Much of the appeal for the genre seems to come from that disharmony, musical and philosophical, an unconfessed attraction towards the broken, the crippled, towards a complexity fostering addictive perversity, an extreme taste for excessive power in chaos. Extreme metal is underground, esoteric. It thrives from being hidden. It thrives from being against the paradigm. There's a parallel that can be established between that cult of ugliness and vileness and the principle of truth, like they go hand in hand together. As a metalhead, one at least subconsciously feels the world is an ugly place. He feels organically that life is an ordeal, and musically he feels the need to attain the truest, most brutal, and extreme form of artistic expression. Truth equals brutal and ugly, therefore the truest form of music must be brutal and ugly. There's much to be said on the topic, but I hope I've provided a bit of food for thought. We don't just randomly prefer certain things over others. We don't just develop tastes from no place in the mind. There's a motivation behind everything we do and say, and a reason behind everything we love or hate.